Hola, buenos dias. Me llamo John Bolton. I'm going to be speaking in English because my Spanish is very bad. So first, I would like to thank our hosts and organizers for all the hard work to get us here. It's a lot of effort to get everyone in the same room together. So I'm the chief of the NASA Goddard Space Flight Center Hydrological Sciences Lab. I'm also a hydrologist. I specialize in satellite-based remote sensing and land surface modeling and algorithm development. And my role here is I've been working with the Department of State Interagency Water Working Group Science Applications Team, also known as ISAT. And through this effort, we've been partnering with the Army Corps of Engineers, other agencies in the United States, USGS, et cetera, and trying to find novel ways of collaborating and working with partner countries so that we can address this important need for water resource management. So what we've done is we've brought some of our rock stars, some of our best folks that can help demonstrate some capabilities and tools that we have so we can continue this discussion of some efficient tools. Next slide. So from the NASA team is myself, we have Perry Otto, Sean McCartney, Ibrahim Muhammad, and Nima Pevlin. And we also have partners from Conservation International. Now, all of these subject matter experts will be addressing different components related to water resources management through the application of satellite-based observations and land surface modeling. So over the next few days, we will all be getting a crash course in several different aspects of tools that we've been working with Army Corps to address water needs in different parts of the world. And now I'll hand this to John Islander.
Hola. My name is also John. We are twins. We look alike.
One grande.
John is a good friend of mine, and I've been working with John from NASA for many years. And I've been working with NASA for many years to do a number of, a lot of science development capabilities. And it's a great benefit to be able to work together within the U.S. government with our, fellow interagency partners to, help society improve technology to support hydrology, weather, meteorology, and those types of technologies. So go back one slide. I'll introduce to you the Army Corps team. In addition to the NASA team, we have an Army Corps team that is here helping to support this. And, over the course of possibly multiple seminars, hopefully you get to you're introduced to more NASA and more Army Corps people, to help with this collaboration. Okay, so from the Army Corps, we have Taylor Cagle, who's sitting here at the table. She's been directly helping us out and organize this workshop along with Perry. Jennifer Rainey, who's in the back, she represents the headquarters of the Army Corps and one of our program managers. And then Will Logan, who's also a lead scientist for groundwater, works for Army Corps, and Marcelo Salas. Okay, so they're all three of them are in the back, and then Taylor and I are here up front, and we represent from the Army Corps. Along with NASA, the Army Corps, and some Conservation International, we work in the U.S. as scientists collaboratively. We work with fellow NASA individuals. We work with U.S. Geological Survey individuals. We work with universities on a regular basis. We're scientists. We want our science to be available to improve society. And so we typically involve broad partnerships to bring scientists together to help improve our tools. Okay, and so we'll introduce you to other people from universities. Venkat Lakshmi from University of Virginia works very closely with John at NASA, and I've worked with Venkat also. He'll be here. And also Daniel Maciel from University of Maryland. So you'll get introduced to a number of folks and experts, to help introduce new technology and improve, the capabilities to this. Okay. Next slide. So my Spanish is not very good. When I was younger, I used to speak, I could have a conversation in Spanish, and I also could play the piano. I can't do either right now. Okay. And my mom is very mad at me for that. Okay. So, especially the piano part, she spent a lot of money on my piano lessons and I can't play it all. I can't play it at all. So, our goals for this workshop are to help. How can we help you? That's it. All right. We're not here to preach. We're not here to lecture. We're here simply to help. If you need specialized help, or if you're having trouble, let us know. We will try to find somebody, one of us, if I'm not giving a talk and you're having some real help and I can help you, we'll go find another room, to try to give you some individual help. Okay. We want you to learn. We want you to be able to understand the tools that we use so that we can help you better, use the data that we have to support decision-making and take that data and make it information, like what was talked about earlier today, right? Okay, we're data scientists. We know how to take data, use tools, put the data together to help decision-making, and that's our goal, is to introduce them to you so that you gain a better understanding. The challenge with that is most of our talks are about an hour long. So it's going to be almost impossible for us to make you an expert on anything. I'm an expert on a few things, and it took me 20 years to get there. Okay, but 25 now. So I can't do it we can't do it in an hour. We can introduce them to you. We can show you the tools that we use, the data we use, and where we get the data and where we get the tools, so that you can at least have that introduction, so that, over the course of months and years, you can start learning them. You know who to contact to ask questions. You can contact us. I'm very nice. John is nicer. Email him. Okay. But you can contact us. You can contact our group and ask us for help. We will put you in contact with other people in order to help, advance that understanding. Okay. So this is not just, come here, learn, go home, and then we never talk to each other again. This should be an enduring conversation that continues over the next 20, 30 years. Okay. So that is the goal. So we'll introduce the topics, we'll help you, understand the tools that we use. A lot of them are free. You don't have to pay for a lot of this stuff. We're going to show you a lot of software that we've developed that we work on that is available out in the internet that you can download for free, install on your computer, and start using right away with documentation. That's really important. You don't necessarily have to go pay, a lot of money in order to start doing this right away. The software that we use, Perry's going to show you, or we've tried to help some people install that already. Perry's going to, further help you with that. Okay. So that is our goal. We'll start the conversation, introduce the topics, introduce the people, get you rolling, and then we'll start that conversation and just keep it going. So the expected outcome is that we continue this conversation for a long time. Okay. So that is our hope. Understand?
Yeah. Thank you, John. And one thing I'd like to emphasize that John mentioned, and Jenna also did, and Juan Carlos mentioned, is that these tools are free, and that goes a long way with us being able to complement the current capabilities and management strategies that are being practiced in your countries right now. And so I've been involved in a lot of these efforts, a lot of these international efforts. And, my job is saying, oh, look, we have all these fancy data and satellite things, but honestly, the tools are not very effective without this communication. So my goal and our team's goal over this week is to listen and learn from you about your needs, about your current capabilities, and how we can truly complement what is currently being done. And so I have my work cut out for me because I have a lot to learn over the next week. So yeah, this is our training objectives. So we're going to start with some basic fundamentals of remote sensing. It will be a fun course. Sean McCartney in the back is going to raise his hand. He's in charge of this. And I'll just say that we have, so what we're going to do now is just look at the software. So what we have on GitHub are demonstrations of the scripting languages, also demonstrations of how these data can be assessed and used to analyze different elements of water resource management capabilities. There will not be a test. So I'll just let you know so we can relax a little bit. If you run into trouble, as John mentioned, we're here to help, and we can follow up this week, but we can also follow up in the future. So everything on GitHub will be available. We have this being recorded on YouTube as well. But I really, really hope that this is the beginning of a long collaboration and partnership with all of you. And let's see, am I forgetting anything? Yeah, I think that's it. This is it. So with that said, I'm going to pass the mic to Perry Otto, and he's done a lot of the heavy lifting of trying to pull these different data sets together. And Perry, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Buenos dias, bon dia. I also do not speak Spanish. I apologize. But I will be trying to help the people in the room and the people who may be listening online live and watching a recording later to look at the software that we're going to be using for this training. Our goal was to make it as interactive as possible so that you can follow along with the presentations and look at the exercises in real time. Or if you just want to watch the presentations, you can return to it later and run the code and look at it at your own leisure. So I will very briefly kind of go over the steps for those people here in the room. We have time on the schedule, which is fantastic to do any troubleshooting and help with any installation problems. We also may be able to help the people listening online. And if you're watching a recording of this later, we will be updating these materials throughout the week. And so at the end of the workshop, the materials should be finalized and you should be able to run all the code. So I will change my screen really quickly. Okay. And I guess I first wanted to take a second. I know we have individuals from many different backgrounds. Thank you all for traveling this distance. And I know we have a variety of experiences. I know we have any scientists in the room? Scientists? Okay. Any engineers? Oh, okay. I guess I'm not sure if the remote audience can see a lot of engineers in the room. We know we have maybe GIS professionals or water management professionals. Okay. So some of the materials that we're showing here may be familiar to you. Some of them may be new. So we're just really trying to make the installation as easy as possible. So if you go to the GitHub, this is for those not familiar, we're using a platform called GitHub. This allows us to update all our code, all the presentations as we go throughout the week. And if you scroll down, you should be able to, let's go, look at this installation instructions and also translate into both Spanish and Portuguese. Hopefully the translations make sense. We also have the agenda here. And so we just want to make sure, as we go throughout the week, that everyone has an opportunity to install the software, to download all the data. Sometimes, it may be a big file, it may take some time, but we just want to make sure that that's available to everyone who's interested in following along. So for those of the individuals in the room here, has anyone tried to do the installation already? Yeah. Any issues so far? Oh, okay. Perfect. For those online who maybe have gotten the link late and are interested in doing the installation, you can follow the steps here. And to do many of the presentations, we're using a platform called Anaconda. This is a platform that's often used in data science. It allows us to install all the software, all the programming languages, all of the packages. So every computer has all the same materials and should hopefully be able to run the materials. So we just want to make sure that we can take time to do this today and people online. And I will just note that the first presentation this afternoon will be by Sean McCartney. He's representing the NASA's Advanced Remote Sensing Training Program, ISAT. So the materials this afternoon won't really require the software. It'll be mostly on the web browser, on the internet. So you should also be able to follow along there. And if you have any questions about the installation, we have time now to discuss that.
Question.
Oh,
Yeah, we will answer there.
okay. Okay, so we have some questions online for people. So yes, questions in the room? Oh.
Sí, no pude instalar la... Me da error mi computadora. Error da, no pude instalar. Sí, me pueden ayudar.
Yes. So have seen a few instances with errors. Some people, especially if you're using a government laptop, you may have some permissions. You may need administrative rights. So we will try to work around that. We'll just emphasize that all the materials will be on GitHub after the presentation, after the workshop. So if you're unable to install right now, if there's any errors that we cannot fix, you can come back to it later. And then also, send me an email if there's questions at a later date. So I will try to look at your computer today. And as we move forward, if there's any other problems, we also have colleagues who can help with the installation. And so let me. What you will eventually do when you install the software is that it'll basically clone, it'll copy the entire GitHub repository to your local machine. It may be a large download at first. It may take a little bit of time. So you can also try to do that tonight at the hotel. So tomorrow we're all ready. I will also say that we have been making edits throughout the week, including as recently as this morning. So if you have already installed Anaconda and already downloaded, we have some commands here so you can update your local files with the most recent files, as well as updating the Anaconda environment. So this is the environment file that contains all the required packages. So as those things change throughout the week, we may need to periodically update these materials. So again, we will, I think if we have time, go out throughout the room. We have some people here that can help. And we will be also monitoring the online audience, the remote audience, for any questions. But otherwise, we really just want to make sure that everyone has the most recent files, most up-to-date files. And if you do, you should be able to, just as an example, open up this test map here. Cuenca del Plata map. And so this is a good test to see if the installation installed correctly. Yes. Yes. So for everyone in the room, if you already installed Anaconda, if you've already copied the files, I would suggest we take some time to git pull. This just pulls the most recent data down to your machine first, and then update your Plata environment